And we are live. It's your favorite insurance agent, Darnold Jr. And today is a very special show. If you have any questions about cryptocurrency, what is a cryptocurrency? How does that work? This is the show to tune into. And so if you have other friends or family that have questions about cryptocurrency, share this. If you're watching this live, go ahead in the chat, put hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, go ahead in the chat, type hashtag replay. But I have a very special big announcement that I'm about to do right now. Today, if you're watching it today, you know that today is February 22nd, 2022. So we're calling it Tuesday. And in honor of Tuesday, I'm not going to be the only host of the show anymore. I have a very special host that she's going to be co-hosting the show from here on out. And with that, I'd like to introduce you guys to my brand new host, Dr. Michelle DeSalle. Woo! Hey, doctor, how's it going?
It's
How are
going
you
very
doing?
well. It's been a great day. It's fantastic to be here. I'm doing very, very well. How are you today?
Fantastic. Thank you for being willing to be a co host with me because this show is about financial literacy and I just want to educate people on how finances work. And
Hmm.
I stay in my lane. I just do insurance and I'm the expert at that. So we bring on guests from other various financial backgrounds to the show. And I don't know all the questions I should be asking. So I appreciate you for helping me in this endeavor on educating people on personal finances. So, with that, introduce yourself. Let the audience know who you are, what you up to nowadays.
Well, again, thank you for asking me to co-host. And it was the fantastic idea. We both have a lot of the same things in mind. We're both concerned about educating the community on financial literacy. I am Dr. Michelle DeSalle. I have an extensive background in education and a passion for teaching. And so I have gotten into the finance industry, and I am serious about educating people on the importance of financial products that they may not have even known that they could have, or they didn't know how to obtain them. And so meeting you and putting our brains together, I said, hey, this is going to be an amazing thing. So the more the merrier. And thank you so much. And hello to everyone. This is going to be an epic journey. So thanks for having me.
Yes, excellent. I'm so excited to have you. Let's really educate people.
Likewise.
So, without any further ado, you're here to hear about cryptocurrencies. That's the big buzzword. Bitcoin's dropping right now. Everybody's curious what's going on. So, let's go ahead and get lit. All right. So without any further ado, I'd like to bring on our guest today. His name is Brian Silveria. Did I say that right? Silveria.
You got it perfect. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. How's it
Hi.
going?
Yeah, good. This is fun. I'm excited. It's
Yeah.
been a while since I've been live on YouTube, so this is
There
cool.
you go. Well, thank you for taking time out your schedule to hang out with us and to educate people. The reason I've asked a lot of people to talk about this topic, but a lot of people felt that they were insufficient. But I had an extended conversation with Brian, and I thought I knew a lot about cryptocurrency. No, this guy knows cryptocurrencies. So if you have any questions throughout the show, please type it in the chat and he'll be happy to answer any and every question. If he doesn't know the answer, we'll come back to you and find the answer. But I have a feeling he knows the answer because this guy knows a lot. So with that, how about you introduce yourselves? Let us know who you are, where you're from, what are you up to nowadays?
Okay, so you said my name's Brian Silveria. I have a YouTube channel. I used to do a lot of streaming about crypto. It's called the BS Crypto Show. It's kind of tongue in cheek, because my name's Brian Silveria. But I've been basically investing, and I've been into Bitcoin since it was like $13. I got into it because I'm kind of a libertarian minded guy, and I was interested in it as a possible replacement of the dollar, and then kind of got into investing into it in one day, and I've done pretty well, and So right now I'm actually just taking a break from work, just kind of exploring options in my life, seeing what I want to do, whether I want to continue down a path of investing in cryptocurrencies or maybe work on other projects. There's the thing is that if you get cryptocurrency right, it can completely change your life, right? So I've been really blessed and have an opportunity now to maybe decide to do other things with my life than I've done before, and so that's where I'm at right now, just exploring.
Absolutely. And he's been humble about his cryptocurrencies, to say the least. So let's go ahead and dive in. So, what exactly is cryptocurrency? Like, you hear that word all day, every day. Like, you can't turn on the news without hearing about cryptocurrency, this, cryptocurrency, that.
Mhm.
What is a cryptocurrency?
Well,
Right.
so the basic way to understand it, so cryptocurrency is basically like a marker of value, and this marker of value exists on a decentralized ledger, right? And there's many different ones that you could possibly hold value on. So the most common one that people know about is
Mhm.
Bitcoin or maybe Ethereum, but there's literally thousands of them. There's thousands of different ledgers, and there's also thousands of coins that exist on top of those ledgers. So the easiest way that I can understand it is if you picture an Excel spreadsheet. It's a ledger, a decentralized ledger. It's an Excel spreadsheet that nobody owns. So you could have a ledger of account that one person owns and controls and can change and manipulate and then share with the public. Well, this is not that. This is a decentralized ledger, so nobody has ownership or control over it. It's split and shared across many different computers, and there's every single different ledger has what's called a consensus network, right? So there has to be agreement on what actually happens on the network, and everybody that's watching it and keeping track of this ledger has to agree on what the values are that are in each individual box. If you just imagine like an Excel spreadsheet. So if you have a cryptocurrency wallet, it's basically like you having a control over one of the boxes on that ledger, right? And so that box would have a two numbers associated with it, which would be a public key and a private key. And so you have control over the public key would be the address, and the private key is the one that you keep secret that you have, so you can have control over whatever value happens to be in that box, and you can send it or receive it or do other things. Some cryptocurrency networks are more extensive and have more programmability where you can actually put entire programs inside boxes. Other ones, like Bitcoin, just simply hold a record of transaction. There's a they call it a UTXO set. It's an unspent transaction set. But anyway, that doesn't really matter. It's basically just keeps track of who can spend what and how much value you have control over with your particular keys.
Oh.
Does that make sense? Was that too much? More
Wow.
simple?
uh, I understand what you said, but I don't think the
Yeah,
average
more
person.
simplified because that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So look, this
Simplify that answer.
Okay, so the hard part with all of this isn't that it's actually really hard to understand. The problem is that I'm using words that you don't know. Okay, so
Right.
it's kind of like learning a new language. The concepts aren't really hard, but I'm going to say things and you're going to be like, I have no idea what that means, and it sounds complicated, but people actually have to realize that it's not that complicated. You just have to learn the language.
Absolutely. I always like to explain it this way. Like, if you break cryptocurrency, the word, into two separate root words, crypto means encrypted, when something's secure, safe, secure. And then currency is like money, you use it to transact with something. And so it's basically a secure way
Right.
to transact, right? Is
Hmm.
that in a nutshell?
Yeah, I mean it's a lot more than that, but yes, yeah, at its base level, well, what you have is a programmable ledger, right? And so the simplest thing that you could possibly program on the ledger is money. So that was the first thing, right? Is okay, we're going to create a token, and we're going to assign a value to this token, and then people can send and receive it and trade it amongst themselves, and we can actually replicate the concept of money digitally. And what blockchain allows for is the possibility of true digital ownership. Before blockchain, you couldn't really actually own things on the internet. So this actually gives us the possibility to claim and hold and own assets without anybody else being able to touch it, as long as you keep your private keys safe.
Keyword safe.
Well, yeah, because the concept of ownership is actually even a little bit strange in blockchain, right? Because if I have a wallet that has currency in it or value in it, and I have the private keys, well, I own it, right? But then what if I share my private keys with you? Well, now you also have control over those assets. So now who owns it? Do I own it or do you own it, right? It gets a little bit weird. So the concept of ownership actually gets a little bit can get a little bit hazy when we're talking about cryptocurrencies. It's really more about control than ownership. But yeah.
Makes sense.
So, Brian, you mentioned if you gave him access and you had access. So, is there not a such thing as a partnership?
Well, you can. So they have so if you really trust the person, I mean, you could just share a wallet, right? And then they do have ways of setting up like they call it a multi-sig wallet, where you can put funds into a wallet, and then in order to move funds out of that wallet, you have to have multiple private keys sign off on that transaction. So you could actually
Mm-hmm.
it, you could actually set it up where two people have to agree to spend the money, but really one person could just have two wallets, right? And so the most important thing in crypto, I cannot stress this enough, for people who are getting new into crypto, I'm going to say it 30 times probably in this call, you have to keep your private keys safe. If you don't, that's the point I'm trying to stress. If you're going to get into cryptocurrency, if they're not your keys, they're not your coins. You don't own them. You have to keep your private keys safe, and that's the special set of numbers that gives anybody the ability to control funds that exist on the ledger.
Wow. Yeah, safety is key.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
stressing,
been a lot of
keep your
issues with that.
private keys safe.
Yeah, keep your private keys safe, because if somebody else gets a hold of them, they have exactly as much ability to move those assets as you do.
So if somebody wanted to buy, say, Bitcoin or Ethereum or XRP or whatever, Dogecoin, how would somebody go about doing that?
Um, the easiest, simplest way is Coinbase. They've been around for a long time. They have a really good track record. You can get on Coinbase. You can create an account. You do have to AML KYC. So that's anti-money laundering, know your customer, right? So they're going to want a copy of your driver's license. They're going to want to know a whole bunch of stuff about you. There's pretty much no way in the United States to easily get cryptocurrency without providing that information to somebody. I know crypto.com's been doing a lot of advertising lately, and I've
Have
heard that they're
been.
pretty good. Yeah, I've never used them. I use Coinbase usually to on ramp from fiat into to on ramp and off ramp into crypto and out of crypto into fiat, which would be U.S. dollars or whatever the local currency is that you can actually spend at the grocery store where you live. But it seems to be it's easy. There are some fees involved, and it's really the easiest way to do it. I like easy. I will say though that I would disadvise anybody from keeping value on Coinbase, right?
Hmm.
Because when you hold value in on Coinbase, now not their wallet, there's a Coinbase wallet that you can download, and like it sits in your browser extension, right? There is a Coinbase wallet you could download, and then you actually get private keys to that, and you have control over it. But if you keep your monetary value, whatever in whatever form that you prefer, whether it's Bitcoin or Ethereum or any of the other assets that they offer, if you keep it in on their system, you're actually on Coinbase's ledger. You're not on a decentralized ledger. So if Coinbase, for whatever reason, decides to go out of business or gets hacked or whatever, and they're like, "Oops, sorry, we lost your money," there's no recourse, zero recourse. So what you want
Wow.
to do is you
Wow.
want to buy whatever cryptocurrency that you want, and then you want to download a wallet from somebody that you trust onto your computer. So like I like MetaMask. I usually deal in Ethereum based assets. So I like MetaMask, and I will put. So I would download MetaMask and then transfer whatever funds off of Coinbase into your own private wallet that you have the keys to. And then you can actually even get a hardware wallet, which would be another level of security, and where the hardware wallet is like a little USB device that you plug into your computer, and you actually have to physically push a button on it to send value from that wallet to somewhere else. So nobody can
Wow.
hack your computer and get on it and do it without actually having the device in their hand. You sign it physically. So
I've heard of people that had Bitcoin years ago and they had it on a separate hardware and then they threw it away. And this one guy was literally scavenging through the
Wow.
dump to try to find his key.
yeah,
Do you hear about that story?
Yeah, yeah. A lot of money's been lost by people getting hacked, losing their private keys. Yeah, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, we don't actually really know how much Bitcoin there is, right? So we're talking about Bitcoin. A lot of Bitcoin's been lost, and then, Satoshi Nakamoto, the guy that invented Bitcoin, there's a wallet that's full of Bitcoin. It's like 1% of the entire Bitcoin network is in a wallet
Hmm.
that's never ever been touched.
Wow.
And so then it comes up with there's a debate of whether or not we should consider that circulating supply when we're talking about the market cap of Bitcoin. But anyway, that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, we'll have to have you back on the show to talk about the advanced cryptocurrency because we're just skimming the surface here. Just what
Yeah.
is cryptocurrency? How do you get involved? And so, do you have any other questions, Doctor?
For the novice investor, could you, talk to our listeners about the pricing of cryptocurrency?
Well, so one thing to understand is that cryptocurrencies are volatile. Okay, the nature of the assets are volatile. So they're volatile to the upside and volatile to the downside. Everybody gets happy when they go up really fast, and everybody gets sad when they go down really fast. If you want,
Right.
yeah, if you want to make a crypto person depressed, give them a coin that goes up in value really, really fast and then drops the next day, and you'll feel poor. Right? You literally had the
Yeah.
same amount of money that you had 2 days ago, but you feel poor because it was worth twice as much yesterday. Right? So it's really good to just get in these things and know that they're volatile. They go up and down a lot, but it's a feature, not a bug. It's a good thing because if you want the price to go up, you have to have volatility. Right? You get there's a counter to that is that there's also volatility on the downside. But if you buy the right project, usually price will go up over time. Historically speaking, I think this is still a true statement. If you have at any point in time bought and held Bitcoin for 3 or more years, you are in profit, right? There's like a 3 year time horizon, and if there's plenty of times to sell within those 3 years where you're going to take a loss. But if you hold more than 3 years, you'll be in a profit. If you look at the chart, I think that's still a true statement. So these are usually long-term, long-term investments are the ones that you want to really hold on to, like projects that you really believe in. The other thing that I would say about price is that you can be fundamentally right about a project and price wrong. Okay,
Mm.
these markets are irrational. They're irrational markets. Okay, the majority of cryptocurrency markets and pricing is driven by regular people, and regular people are not very good investors most of the time, and they invest off of fear and greed. Okay, and so when you have markets that are primarily driven, when you have price discovery that's primarily driven by fear and greed, they become irrational. Okay, so if you look at you might look at a project and see like this is going to change the world. Like these people are doing a fantastic thing. It's the coolest thing I ever heard of. It's brilliant. Like whatever. When you start researching into projects, and all of those could be true, and it could just lose you a bunch of money, right? And then you can also buy into a coin that has like almost no merit in the real world, like literally like a
Dogecoin.
yeah, like
Dogecoin.
Dogecoin. It literally was developed as a meme. It was a joke, right? And
Oh
the
no.
price went up so much on that, people made a lot of money, right? So when there's other projects that actually have real world application that could potentially be life changing, world changing, and just nobody knows it. It never catches on. They're irrational markets. So it's hard to find a winner, but there's two really cool things about cryptocurrency that could change the world. Okay, as far as your personal life. Okay, there's two things that you have to kind of relearn. It used to be that there's no such thing as getting rich quick. That's no longer true. Cryptocurrency has changed that. There is such a thing as getting rich quick. It's possible. Okay, you have to get in the right project.
Okay.
There is some luck involved. There is a lot of time and energy usually spent researching, being ahead of the curve, right? Getting into the right thing. And the other thing is there used to be no such thing as free money. It's not true anymore. There is free money. Okay, cryptocurrency has given us the ability to receive free money. I've received tokens from projects for just using their site. Like Uniswap is a decentralized exchange. I used the Uniswap exchange a few times, just kind of testing it out, having fun. And I got a Uniswap airdrop. They just sent it right to my wallet. I didn't ask for it. I didn't do anything, and I sold it for like 6 grand. Right? If I would have held
Right.
on to it, actually, it would have been multiples of that. I didn't know at the time. I thought it was going to go down. I made the wrong price call on that particular asset. But there is such thing as free money. There's airdrops, and when you're in programs and you're in the crypto world, a lot of people will reward holders of certain assets with other assets because they're actually trying to grab their attention. Um,
Well, you definitely grabbed my attention.
Brian, you and you are a walking information machine. But it does. One of the things that I did gather is that cryptocurrency can also hold a lot of emotional distress for the investor,
yeah,
and
yeah, absolutely.
so it's good that you put that out there so they'll know this is not an easy journey, an easy ride. You have to be committed to it. Can I ask you one more question,
Yeah, sure.
Brian? Could you tell me? Could you talk a little bit about the best crypto exchange?
Um, so so what I've talked about before, like with exchanges, um, I don't trust any exchange. Okay, probably the best one
Okay.
that I would put the most trust in is Coinbase. But even then, like I said before, you want to take your coins off of those. The coolest thing in crypto right now, as far as exchanges go, are decentralized exchanges. Okay, so cryptocurrency has they've figured out how to put programs on network, on chain, that let you swap um, value between one token and another, or one coin and another, without any middlemen. There's zero counterparty risk. Um, um, so you could actually just it's I don't want to get too far into it, but if you can figure out DeFi, DeFi is the best way. Decentralized exchanges are 100% the best way to go. As soon as you can get your money off of a centralized exchange where you're trusting somebody else to hold your value, and on chain where you can move it around and change it with no counterparty risk, the better. That's 100% the way to go. I don't trust anybody. Literally, centralized exchanges are the opposite of what cryptocurrency was made for.
Mm.
Cryptocurrency was made to put the control in your hands, to take counterparty risk. It's trustless, right? It's designed so that you don't have to trust another person to do anything. And they've actually figured out how to make really, really good decentralized exchanges that are fully functional and let you move around currencies. The only downfall with that is it's really hard. You can't in a decentralized exchange as of yet easily swap value from one chain to another chain. So if you're using a decentralized exchange that exists on Ethereum like Uniswap, you're only going to be able to transact between other tokens that also exist on the Ethereum network. So if you wanted to go to like the Binance Smart Chain network, it's actually kind of hard. It's actually pretty convoluted and hard to get value from the Ethereum network onto the Binance network. And especially for us here in the United States, we're not allowed to use Binance. If you want to use Binance, you have to basically use a VPN and lie. And I'm not really about that life, so I don't
Yeah,
know. Did that
absolutely.
answer your question? Because I don't know.
Yeah, it answered my question, and I got a lot of other good stuff too. I tell you what, you did say earlier that this is like, a foreign language. So we're going to have you on just to teach us the lingo in a future
Yeah,
because it is
Absolutely.
extensive.
well, there's a lot to talk about in DeFi, which is a decentralized finance. That would probably be an entire episode all on its own, right? So they've basically
Yeah.
taken um, a lot of the instruments or a lot of the functions that the banks or things would do, like interest payments and those types of things, and they've moved it on chain where it's trustless and decentralized, like exchanges and those kind of things. It's called DeFi.
DeFi.
Like
That's
Hex over here. This is Hex. Hex is DeFi. It's basically a certificate of deposit on blockchain, right? So you can buy a certain amount of value. You can lock it up over a period of time, and the longer you lock it up, the more interest you get paid, and you get paid from inflation. So Bitcoin Bitcoin pays miners. The Bitcoin network inflates to pay miners to secure the network. Hex inflates to pay stakers to hold up the price. So
wow.
this is actually my favorite project in all of crypto right here. And then the same guy that invented this is coming out with a Ethereum fork, which that's another one of those words that you'd have to learn. But it basically a copy of the Ethereum network with a full system state in place, which is kind of a big deal. It's going to be the biggest airdrop in the history of cryptocurrencies. He's copying everything. So
Wow.
it's actually really
So
cool. This project is one to look at, to keep an eye on. It's called Pulse Chain.
So stay tuned, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we would love to have you back on to define some of the words that you
Yeah.
have. So we're going to open it up to the audience. So if you have any questions about cryptocurrencies, a specific one or a general, go ahead and type it in the comments, and I'll bring it on the screen. And while you guys are typing in the chat, I'll go ahead and ask you this last question. Are there any books or resources that you would recommend if they do want to learn what is DeFi, what is a ledger, what is all these terms that you threw out throughout the episode?
Most of what I know, I've learned from YouTube, right? Like YouTube is really the place to go. There's so
Mhm.
many smart people that have really good channels. One guy I got that got me started in a lot of this stuff and explains all these words really well is a guy. His name's Ivan on Tech, and he's actually a programmer. He knows how to program blockchain, and so his videos are programmer explains dot dot dot, right? And he'll actually go into the code and explain it really simply, show you exactly how it works, and that's a really good resource. He also has academy that you can purchase membership to, where he has courses that you can take, and there seems to be a really good resource. I haven't actually taken any of his courses. I bought one for programming on the Ethereum network, and I never actually really went through it because programming is like pretty big bite to chew off to get into programming.
It
Um,
is.
yeah, and then I would recommend Richard Hart is the guy who invented Hex, and he streams on YouTube all the time. I will say that if you go to his older videos, he has a tendency to curse a lot, so it was
Okay.
really hard for me to recommend him for a long time to like my family members and stuff. But his newer videos, he's really made an effort to stop cursing and to keep it more family friendly. And so just beware that if you go back too far, there's some pretty vulgar language. But he's brilliant. He's like an eccentric multi-millionaire, billionaire now. Like he's super genius. He's been retired since he was 25 or something like that, and he's got a lot of stuff going on.
Oh, excellent. Well, definitely going to have to check those
Interesting.
out.
Excellent.
You mentioned you have your own
Yeah.
show. How can people get in contact with you? How can people find out about you and your show?
Well, it's been like 2 years since I actually uploaded a video on YouTube, but I used to do a lot of YouTube videos back in the day when I was into some like real uh, kind of like fun, stupid projects and stuff. But it's the BS Crypto Show on YouTube. I'm BS Crypto on most social media. I have a Twitter. I think it's the BS Crypto Show. Um, BS Crypto on Twitch. I stream video games sometimes on Twitch, and so sometimes I talk about cryptocurrencies. What's that?
I think we were just getting feedback, but
Oh,
excellent.
that was just. Oh, I thought you were talking to me. Okay, yeah, that was just. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm not really actively making content right now. I probably should because I just repeatedly keep having friends and family members reaching out to me, and I'm like giving individual lessons to people, which is a terribly inefficient way to share the information that I have. So I really probably should be making content, if for no other reason than when people have questions for me, I could be like, would just go to my channel. I have a video about that, or this is how you get on Binance Smart Chain. This is how you use decentralized exchanges, that kind of stuff. I just haven't really had the drive to get into that. It might be something that I do though.
Nice. I hope you do because you are a wealth of knowledge, and we appreciate you for being on the show.
Yeah.
Is there any last thing you'd like to share with the
Absolutely.
audience?
Um, no, I don't think so. This was a lot of fun. I'll come back whenever. Just let me know. Yeah, it's good.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Brian. And
Uh,
well, we appreciate you for being on the show, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.
all right. Yeah, I will. You too.
All right. So, Dr. Michelle, it's your
Okay.
first time being on the show.
Yes.
What are your Thank you so much too
Right.
for agreeing
So
to be a
cryptocurrency
co-host.
broke me in today.
It's your first
It broke
time.
in on
So,
cryptocurrency. Pretty good.
that's
So
right.
this is
So,
this is great. I love the format, the information. My gosh, it's just amazing. A lot to learn, a lot to go back and research. And I know that you are into cryptocurrency, and so you are learning a lot of different stuff. But like you said, you guys have a lot in common. So that had to be great meeting him.
absolutely. Yeah, he's on a whole nother level. I just scratched the surface, and so
Right.
it was great information. He provided a lot of value. I have to rewatch this a couple times and do my
Right.
research, like you said, on the different
Exactly.
things. So, but that's the purpose of the show, is so that we can get educated about different areas of personal finances, whether real estate or cryptocurrencies, or how to improve your credit score. I'm going to put a
Yes.
link to that video up above, because we had a lady that talked about how to improve your credit score. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely click on the link above. But with that, we appreciate you guys for tuning in and getting lit.